How much are these fictional brands and conglomerates actually worth? In the world of fiction, we've heard many names that radiate power and wealth. And if you have a truckload of cash, that's not only a power, but it's a superpower.
Thank you is not enough what you did. How did you get the house back from the bank?
I bought the bank.
The whole bank.
So today, we're going to look at a few of the main titans in the fictional world, which are not just superpowers, but are nuclear superpowers to the world and society. Because these conglomerates can either make this world a utopia or a dystopia. Yes, that's how much power they derive from their vast wealth. Just a heads up, some of the names you've already guessed are in this list, and there are some that you may never have even thought of. Number 1. Ferris Air. Rather than introducing it as Ferris Air Inc., one of the leading aviation companies in the world specializing in advanced aviation concepts, I'll say it's the company that once employed Hal Jordan, aka the first Green Lantern Corps member of the Earth. That'll surely resurface some memories. Yes, that airline. Ferris Block Air Cargo Limited was founded by Carl Ferris, a businessman, and Conrad Block, a pilot. Together, they became profitable against the odds, and down the road, the company was handed over to their daughter and goddaughter, Carol Ferris. Due to its popularity, Ferris Air is the Boeing of the DC universe. However, when compared with financial records, Ferris Air can hardly measure up to Boeing, which is worth nearly $100 billion. More suitable real-life examples for Ferris Airlines would be Nordam Group, LLC. Nordam is a family-owned global aerospace manufacturing and repair firm which has a net worth of over $500 million. According to that comparison, Ferris Air climbs up in the Forbes fictional fortune ladder into the 34th position, which previously it wasn't in. The company is an emerging rival to the two aviation giants in the industry, LexCorp Aviation and Wayne Airlines. Number 2. Gringotts Wizarding Bank. When looking at the world of Harry Potter, the biggest company that comes to mind without a doubt is Gringotts Wizarding Bank. It's the only bank in the wizarding world and is owned and operated by goblins. The bank was created by a goblin called Gringotts in 1474. Its main offices are located around the north side of Diagon Alley in London, England. The bank stores money, gold, the valuables of wizards and witches, and features an intense magical security system which includes a subterranean maze, magical barriers and protective spells, and dragons. There are hundreds of thousands of vaults, each with a unique key. The nearest real-world example we found with such features and caliber would be the Royal Bank of Scotland. The net worth of the Royal Bank is accounted to be 2.23 billion euros, about 2.98 billion US dollars. And Gringotts seems to be the sole titan in the banking industry in the fictional world, ranking 25th in the list among many tech giants. Number 3. LexCorp. From a humble beginning which started in the top floor office of the Daily Planet building in Metropolis, LexCorp rose to become one of the world's largest, most diversified, multinational conglomerates. In 1974, LexCorp was founded by Alexander Luther Sr., an immigrant from East Germany, and had its headquarters built in downtown Metropolis. His son treasured every effort his father made to build this company, and after his dad's passing, he managed the company ingeniously, resulting in the company's flourish into a massive corporate giant. The magnificent glass tower, LexCorp, is the headquarters of Lex Industries, and is a perfect marriage of architecture and technology. It's the biggest, grandest, most advanced structure in Metropolis. The mere sight of the tower often reminds us of a similar structure on Fifth Avenue, New York. In addition to that, Luther has also won the US presidency held in 2000.
Tough times require a tough man, and the tougher times get, the more the voters will realize they need me in the Oval Office.
According to Superman, the Man of Steel, number 110. Although there seem to be a lot of similarities between the two, we can't compare their businesses as one is based in real estate and hotels while the other is based on aviation and tech research. Therefore, we'll be looking at a different real-life example which will be more in tune with LexCorp's scope. LexCorp was originally organized as an aerospace engineering firm, yet grew rapidly into a diverse, international conglomerate with interests in waste management, industrial manufacturing, technology, chemicals, retail, bioengineering, oil, airlines, media, financial services, robotics, logistics, stock brokerage, houses, and food. LexCorp is claimed to be worth $65 billion, but we're not sure to what degree that's accurate. So, to get a better idea about its vast wealth, let's look at some major subsidiary companies under LexCorp. LexCorp houses a few of the prominent companies in country related to different sectors, such as LexComp, LexChemical, LexCom, Lexel Investments, FedLex, LexMart, Tellex, and the oldest two, LexAir and LexOil. If we carefully look at these major subsidiaries, we can surely come up with their real-world counterparts. LexChemical in the comics is more similar to Eastman Chemical, which has a revenue of $9.3 billion in the previous year. Lexel Investments is today's Cascade Investments, which has a market price of $24.38 per share, summing up to a pre-tax value of $15.14 billion. In the present, the main stream that brings truckloads of money to the corporation is the logistics giant FedLex. By the sound of the name, we know what its real-world representation is. Yes, none other than the multinational delivery services company with a share price of $244, altogether adding up to a market capitalization of value over $55.5 billion FedEx. Although Luther's roots were in airlines and oil production, he became the crowned prince in logistics. LexMart, which is more similar to Walmart's rival Target in a financial sense, has a revenue of $11.3 billion. Then, the two oldest companies who became the base of LexCorp, LexAir and LexOil. LexAir is the embodiment of Allegiant Air in the comic world and has a revenue of $2.8 billion, and LexOil is the essence of Marathon Oil, having a net worth of $5.2 billion. So, from all these sectors, it adds up to a total of $98.62 billion, more than $33.62 billion when compared to said value. With this analysis, LexCorp turns out to be the 6th richest corporation in the entire Forbes list. Number 4. Queen Consolidated. Founded by Robert Queen and run primarily by the Queen family, it's located in Star City, which was the city's head business. In the beginning, Queen Consolidated made much of its profits from the sale of weapons and munitions. But after witnessing its adversities on society, they turned over a new leaf. They started producing steel, focusing on finance, and tried to expand into an umbrella corporation that does engage in many businesses. If you've watched the TV series Arrow, you'll be sure to get a thorough understanding about the ownership of the firm, which has changed from time to time. If we look at its finances, we can't clearly relate it to an exact real-life company. However, it has some similarities to Cleveland Cliffs Iron Company, which shows a revenue of $3.632 billion in 2020. According to various sources, Oliver Queen's net worth amounts to nearly $3 billion. And since he is the major shareholder of the company, owning more than 50%, we can somewhat agree with this assumption. Results show that Queen Consolidated is the 24th fortune in the list, just before Gringotts. Number 5. Stark Industries. The big gun in the weapons industry that fuels the heroic acts of the grandiose Iron Man. Built by Isaac Stark Sr. in the 19th century and later taken over by Howard Stark and then by his son Tony after his death. The company made its fortunes today by manufacturing advanced weapons and developing military technologies. Forbes has valued Stark Industries to be $51.87 billion back in 2011, yet if we focus on the real-life examples of Stark Industries, which would be the Lockheed Martin Corporation, we might be able to derive a better approximation. Just like Tony's Stark Industries, Lockheed Martin's is also a leader in defense, arms, security, and advanced technologies. We can strongly agree, even the creators had this idea, when the Stark Industries logo is similar to the celebrated defense contractor Lockheed Martin. And during the press conference scene, Stark is seen entering a building that resembles the entrance to Lockheed Martin's Skunk Works facility. An airplane extremely similar to the Lockheed YF-22 stood as a statue in front of the Stark Industries facility, exactly like the prototypes on display at Skunk Works facility in Palmdale, California. When we look at financial statements, Lockheed Martin's had a revenue of $59.81 billion last year, which is nearly an $8 billion difference from the old Forbes. If we stick with this approximation, Stark Industries might be the 7th biggest titan in the fictional world, just below LexCorp. Number 6. The Wonka Factory. The Wonka Chocolate Company is actually a real-world company operated by Nestle under the Wonka Candy Company name. Although the scope of Willy Wonka's chocolate factory and Nestle's Wonka Candy Company do greatly differ, they have somewhat similar origins. The company is inspired by the novel Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and launched in 1971, thus coinciding with the release of the film Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. If we take a look at the real-world scenario, In January of 2018, Nestle USA announced that it would be selling its US confectionery business to Ferrero, an Italian chocolate and candy maker. The company was sold for a total of an estimated $2.8 billion, but this can hardly be the net worth of a behemoth chocolate factory. Willy Wonka's company is more similar to today's Mars Incorporated, which is one of the largest food companies in the world. It has produced a revenue of $35 billion in the recent years and is a matching example for the Wonka factory. Willy Wonka's chocolate factory is the single sweetest company in the list, even dominating up to the 11th position. Number 7. Wayne Enterprises. The world-renowned, dearly loved conglomerate in the fictional world, chaired by celebrated Gotham's White Knight Bruce Wayne, is a large, growing multinational company diversified in many sectors. The business was first founded by merchant ancestors of the Wayne family in the 17th century as a merchant house. It's among the oldest companies in the DC universe. The company is primarily known for its military defense contracts and space exploration projects. But Wayne Enterprises also includes dozens of umbrella companies involved in all sectors of the economy, both in Gotham City and around the world. Subsidiaries of the enterprise deal in biotech, chemicals, electronics, energy, entertainment being the parent company of the Daily Planet newspaper, mining, oil, pharmaceuticals, securities, steel, yards, and many, summing up to a vast wealth. While Forbes had valued the enterprise revenue to be $31.3 billion, its methodology wasn't made public, not to mention its timeliness. So, in this video, we've dug deep to extract information related to this conglomerate giant. Looking at the family business, we can compare Wayne Enterprises' construction division to the real-world Turner Construction, with a revenue of $11.77 billion in the previous year. Because Wayne Enterprises also moves into security, we can relate it to L3 Communications, which had a revenue of $18.1 billion in 2019. The shipping division would be compared with Horizon Lines, which gained $1.5 billion in 2019, and the emerging gold mine Wayne Aerospace has been compared with SpaceX, which saw an average annualized revenue of $2.5 billion. But currently, we all know that SpaceX is worth more than $100 billion. But we can't say for sure that Wayne Aerospace is capable of replicating a similar feat. Therefore, let's just keep that fact as it is.
And that landing burn has started.
Starbaser's landing legs are deployed.
Gotcha, I see it. Yeah, I got him. They're there, y'all. Oh my God, right there. You've got to be kidding me! What?
We can't forget the company in which the beautiful Lois Lane works, Daily Planet. It's also under the management of Wayne Enterprises and amounts to a revenue of $29.54 million and is based on the New York Times. Therefore, based on that information, Wayne Enterprises has an approximate revenue of $33.87 billion only from its main subsidiaries, not to mention the Wayne Tech's acquisitions of Mr. Terrific's Holt Corp, worth $1 billion, and Blue Beetle's Cord Industries, which is worth nearly $5 billion. However, the largest component of the enterprise is the defense division, which fits well with the movie since we are told that this sector of the company has become its cornerstone, and explains why Bruce Wayne has the latest in military technology to help fight crime in Gotham. At the end of Batman Begins, Wayne Enterprises goes public. If we think about some similarities, General Electric is another public company with a significant defense sector and a long history, founded in New York. Its shares trade at around 64 times its earnings. The revenue of General Electric for last year is $95.21 billion. With these reports, if we add up the main components with the main subsidiaries, it would put Wayne Enterprises at the third largest superpower in the world by market capitalization, totaling up to $129.8 billion, resulting in a catastrophe in the Forbes fortune list, where it was ranked at the 11th position.